Anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to show you the on-screen interface is that it's a little bit more flexible. You can see more of the information at once, and we can actually set some stuff up in terms of scenes. I was saying that we could save the scenes using the screen on the mixer itself, but here there's this nice handy interface where we can actually save as many scenes as we want to the computer, as much hard drive space as you have, and trust me, you're not going to run out of hard drive space. But the position of all the sliders, the FireWire controls up here, the sends, the EQ, the compression. I've got a noise gate on my microphone so you don't hear any sound when I'm not speaking, and I've got a high pass filter so you don't hear any noise. Basically, everything can be set ahead of time. So I'm using a scene right now called web video. I'm going to reset it because I've made some changes. It's as easy as just dragging things onto the interface. Okay, notice that nothing's really changed, but I've reset a couple of things. The aux3 has been dropped down. I've got you can't see it, but just below the mixer here, I've got a rack mount effects unit. It's a Behringer 2024. It's not the most glamorous effects processor, but it gets the job done. And it's got some decent delays, reverbs, and some modulation effects built into it. And so I've got that set up on aux 1 and 2. It's a stereo effects unit. So here's a scene that I put together that will actually send stuff from the microphone and the synthesizer to aux 1 and 2. And you'll notice, let me do that again. Here's the original web video scene. Here's the 2024 scene. And watch what happens with the sliders. Okay, those jump up. You might not have noticed these, but these are the sends. Okay, so send 1, send 2, 1 and 2 here. And the same thing over here with the synthesizer. These are what are going to aux 1 and 2, the stuff that I was doing with the sliders up here. And so let me switch over to aux 1 and here's aux 1. And it should you should be able to match one thing up to the other. Here's aux 2. Okay, so everything is reflected on my on-screen interface here. The last step is to actually bring up the volume of the return signal, and I'm returning the signal from the effects processor on 9 and 10. So you'll notice the quality of my voice is changing again, and I'm going to turn this down so you can really hear the sound. Might be hard to understand me, but here's a flanger and my voice going through the flanger. So here is the flanger. Need a slightly stronger signal, but you can probably hear the sound of that flanger at this point. Here's that same synthesizer that I was using before. And that was the synthesizer being routed through that flanger that I have set up in the effects processor. I'm going to change the patch down here, and I've added this giant cathedral reverb. It's very, very heavy cathedral reverb, but this way you can hear the what kinds of effects you can add through this loop here, the aux 1 and 2. So bring this up, and suddenly there's this huge reverb behind me. I'll turn the dry sound of my voice down and go simply through the reverb. So you can hear that that it's a pretty dramatic effect. I can do the same thing using that same synthesizer. So you can hear some of the effects that I have running out of this mixer. One last thing that we can actually do, and this is what really brings everything together for this project, I think. I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the things for this project without this 1602 mixer. I kept referring to these FireWire buttons here, and I said that when you turn those on, you can turn them on here on the mixer itself. You can turn them on here on the universal control. But when those are activated, what's actually happening is audio is being sent to these channels from the computer. So I'm gonna switch over to Ableton Live real quick here, and I've got it's a mock-up of the string quartet parts for that Kronos will be performing live. At least some of it they'll be performing live. And I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And you'll notice on channels 1 and 2 we've got some signal. Okay, let me switch this over to the input mode here on the mixer, and you can see that there's signal coming in 1 and 2. I'll stop talking so you can see just that. Okay, so we don't hear anything. That's because the sliders are all the way down. Okay, and you can see that on the software interface here as well. Okay, so here's the sliders for 1 and 2. And I'm going to bring them up, and we can start to hear this very fake string quartet. It's just some software instruments, but it's there to sort of help me figure out where the effects are going, what kinds of effects to apply, and so on. Well, you might have noticed also that I've got aux 1 and 2 being sent from channels 1 and 2. So this means I can actually route my computer signal through the hardware FX unit. So here it is. There's the reverb. Let me go back to the flanger so you can actually hear what's going on. I also have another scene set up here so that I can route everything through the Moger Fogers. Here's the string quartet parts going through the Moger Fogers here. Just need to bring up. And sorry, I need to reset the file. And now I can mess around a little bit with the speed of the ring modulator, just so you can hear, you know, that we can actually change things on the hardware devices here as well. And so basically, using this mixer, using the software that's built in, the universal control, and sending a bunch of audio from the aux sends, bringing it back into different channels of the mixer, it's a very, very powerful device, and it's become the center of my sound design for this project. I'll be following up this video with some more details. We'll talk a little bit about the synthesis, a little bit about some of the effects that I've applied in various places. But I wanted to give you an overview of my sort of central hub for sound design for this project. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for a new video soon.